Welcome to Widowcast Podcast, where you learn how to find the strength to get through your journey and the skills to coach other widows. This is not your average grief group. This is your journey group. It just may show you the way to make something amazing come out of the emotional pain and trauma of widowhood. I'm your host, Joann Philomena. I'm the best-selling author of Widowed and Widow Coach, and I'm a professional certified life coach. Let the healing and your personal journey begin. Welcome back, my friends. Listen, bear with me today. Can you hear this in my voice? I'm hoarse for some reason. Probably just doing too much at once over the last week or two, which I will share with you. But first, I want to alert you all. I know I have talked before on here about the Widow Coaching Center. It's at widowcoachingcenter.com, and that's a subscription membership site for working through your process. I have coaching videos in there for you. Each month you get a new bunch of coaching videos. It's a fantastic membership. I do a coaching call for my members each month, a live video coaching call. And the members that are in there right now are loving this, and I'm loving serving them. But I am closing the doors on that membership on June 26th. So, not much time. Next week, the doors will close because I need to focus on serving the members who are in there. I also have some other stuff going on and more stuff I want to develop for the site. So it will be reopening at some point towards the end of the year. But if you've been considering this subscription membership site with me, now's the time. You need to get in there before midnight, June 26th, because at that point, it's being shut down. One of the reasons I chose that date, like why not the end of the month, Joann, is because I am making a move here. And I will be off microphone for a couple weeks. So you might be missing me for a couple weeks here, but then I will be back. So if you're interested in the subscription membership or want to know more about it, go to widowcoachingcenter.com. It's a really unique opportunity to be coached through this grief process, to find out what it's like working with a coach at a really great price. Individual coaching, when I was still even taking on one-on-one clients, was quite expensive, and I no longer do one-on-one coaching because I train widow coaches now. So take advantage of this opportunity. Jump in there and check it out. Today, I am talking about when we reach out widow to widow. And here's what I want to talk to you about this, because I know there's many of you that do this. It's, being a good friend, giving advice, even if that advice was not requested, might even be unwanted. But here's the thing. When we encounter another widow, we want to fix her right away. We want to tell her all the things she needs to do. And this is not coaching, and sometimes it's not even helpful. Sometimes that widow just needs you to listen to her and not try to tell her what to do and not try to share all of your story with her to make her, her story will begin to maybe feel insignificant compared to your story. And that's not a very comfortable place for a new widow to be. There is a radio show that I occasionally listen to. It's a morning show. If I am going somewhere early in the morning and I'm in my car, I will put them on. It's Bob and Sherry in the morning. And I've listened to them for years. They're hilarious. They have their shtick. I just love it. And I don't get to listen to them on a daily basis or even think about it on a daily basis, to be honest, because I'm working from the time I get up in the morning. I just love doing what I do. But there are still times that I put them on. One of the things they occasionally invoke on their show is the cone of safety. And I love this concept. Let me explain and tell you why. The cone of safety on the Bob and Sherry show is when you need to talk about something and you want to talk about it without any judgment whatsoever from the people around you, right? They will do this. One of them will say, cone of safety, and everybody agrees, okay, cone of safety, right? We're not going to judge you. We're not going to second guess you. And what an amazing thing that is, right? I mean, some days I feel like I want to be walking around with a cone of safety around me 24/7. Like, let me just be open and vulnerable and tell you about all my stuff and not have you judge me for it. And in the climate of our country right now, it's like nobody has a cone of safety. Everybody's open to personal attack. I think we all need the cone of safety evoked for us. I teach something similar to the cone of safety. It's a coaching skill that I train my coaches in. It's called holding space. And when you're holding space for another widow, here's the deal. You're not going to try to fix her. You're not going to try to tell her what she needs to be doing. You are just going to listen to whatever she wants to talk about without reacting even. And now that can sound really cold and sterile. I've had somebody once get very angry with me and tell me that I had absolutely no empathy and that empathy was more important. When I was trying to explain to her, if you're crying with the other widow, you're taking away from her. Have you ever been wanting to share something and cry about it, and then somebody else starts crying, and now you're put in that position of having to comfort the other person who is crying for you? Do you know what I'm talking about? I mean, I've experienced that. I experienced that a lot right after Jim died, where I found me, the widow, was being pushed into a position of having to comfort other people about Jim's death instead of being comforted myself. And when you put your arm around the other widow and start crying with her, you are putting her in that position. She starts to try to hold back her tears because she does not want to make you cry, right? So when you think you're being a good friend and you're just, I have so much empathy and I'm going to cry with her, what she really needs is the cone of safety. She needs you to just hold space for her. And when I'm working with a client and I am holding space for that client, it means that client can tell me anything, good or bad, and I'm not going to react. She's not going to get this big judgmental reaction out of me. It could just be a facial expression. I just stay very neutral the whole time she's telling me her story, because this gives her that realization that it's a safe zone and she can really say anything to me and I'm not going to judge her for it, right? She can open up entirely to me and she doesn't have to try to protect me from hurting my feelings or making me cry. She can open up and tell me all the deep, dark secrets, which when you pull them out into the light of day, you're like, oh my gosh, I was so afraid of sharing that. And now it seems like nothing. Have you ever had that experience? This is what holding space is for another widow. So I know our natural instincts when we are listening to another widow's story or we encounter another widow, we just have this natural instinct to want to fix it for them. It's a very human reaction. We don't like to see other human beings feeling badly, and our instinct is to kind of rush in and make them feel better. But the truth is, that's not coaching. And I want to get really clear about that, widow to widow, because I have many widows reach out to me and tell me, oh, I'm already coaching widows, but it might be good to be trained in those skills. If you haven't been trained in coaching skills, you're not coaching. You're being an awful good friend. Maybe you're being like a mentor and advisor, which for many widows, get mad at me because I realize the value of that. I talk about that in my first book. I had a widow reach out to me just a few days after Jim passed away. And that phone call was one of the most valuable things that I got at that time, right? I was so on my own and nobody knew what I was dealing with. And this widow gave me a phone call. And one of the things she said was, Joann, you need to understand you're in a state of shock. And as soon as she said it, it made so much sense to me. I was like, yeah, that's what's going on. That's why I didn't cry the night he died. I couldn't cry. I was in a state of shock. Tears came later. So, yes, reaching out widow to widow is an amazing thing, and it's a valuable thing. When you do reach out widow to widow, allow that other widow to have the space to open up to you. Try to not be too reactionary with her. You know, one of the reasons I didn't start out coaching widows right out of the gate after Jim died is because I realized it was still too new and too raw for me, and that I would not be able to hold space for another widow. I was not going to be able to put her in that cone of safety because I was like so emotionally raw myself. It was a very different story a year later. That's when, I had so many widows reaching out to me because of this podcast, wanting to hire me as a coach. And I began coaching widows, and it just changed the whole course of my career as a coach. And it's wonderful work. When I got on the phone with that first widow client, I was very aware of what I needed to do to hold space for her, to allow her to have that cone of safety and not try to fix her, but instead to use these tools and share these tools of coaching to allow her to discover what it is that is priority to her right now and how to move forward in her life. Really, I gave her tools that she can take through the rest of her life with her. Anything that she has to confront and deal with. And that's the amazing thing of what we do as coaches. A coach can help you understand your own mind, how your mind works, and how to put your mind to work for you so that you can start to discover who it is you are now and what it is you want now. Because initially, we don't even know that, right? So, being a good friend, giving advice, there is a time and place for that. If my lawnmower is broken and I have no idea what to do about it, it's awesome to have a friend that says, look, you can call this company. They'll come get it and fix it and bring it back. They do great work. Perfect advice, right? But if I'm not asking for lawnmower advice, and my friend comes over and says, oh, I see you have a lawnmower. Here, you need to call this guy. He's going to service it for you. Then I'm a little like, wait, what? My lawnmower's fine. Right? Don't try to fix the other person. Instead, just show them how they can fix themselves. That is the coaching difference. When you are reaching out widow to widow, not widow coach to widow, but widow to widow as a friend, just listen. Just listen to her story and don't overreact. Don't say, oh my gosh, that's terrible, because now she's going to have to try to make you feel better. Allow her the space to share everything she needs to share. That is the most greatest gift you can give to that widow, to allow her to share it all with you without you overreacting or trying to fix it or tell her what to do. Okay? Promise me that. And promise me you will continue to reach out widow to widow. When you come across another widow, boy, let her talk to you. And then you can tell her, you know what, this is all perfectly normal. You're doing fine. Because that's where we are most at as widows. And that's what we want to hear, that we're not crazy, we're not incapable, and that really we're going to be okay. That's the best news. And you really are going to be okay as a widow as long as you can begin to take steps forward in life. I'm not talking about getting over it or moving on. I know those are triggers. They upset me too. Because it's like, I'm not getting over my husband. Seriously? Right? I know you all feel that way. But there is a time where you want to be able to move forward in your life, right? Even bringing those memories with you, but moving forward, being able to create the future that you were meant to create for yourself now. To know that you're going to be okay on your own. That's a big deal to a widow. And it took me, I think, a couple of years before I finally hit the point where I thought, gosh, I think I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to be okay on my own. And I knew I could be okay. That was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling. I want that for all of you too. I want you to know you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Sometimes, though, it does take being able to open up to another. Finding a certified widow coach is a great idea. I have lots of certified widow coaches at this point. I have been certifying widow coaches, training and certifying widow coaches for 3 years now. And I am still doing that. The next class starts July 19th. There is still time. So if you want to find out more about widow coach training and certification, reach out to me at joann@joannthelifecoach.com. You can email me. You can go to my website, joannthelifecoach.com, and check that out. It's going to be terrific. Now, listen, I've got a couple weeks here that are just going to be insane. And then we're going to be starting a new coaching class. So jump on that. Beat me over the head to get my attention. If you do want to do that, we'll get you in there. Widow Coaching Center, closing the doors June 26th. Doesn't mean I'm closing the doors to people who are members. I'm going to be serving those members and just creating all kinds of exciting stuff for them. You have until June 26th to join. After that, you won't be able to join. You will be able to get on a wait list for when we open the doors on that center again. And but I can't guarantee when that's going to be. Sometime before the end of the year, I'll be opening the doors again for registration. But right now, just want to focus on serving the membership, and that's what I'm going to do. So you all, evoke the cone of safety for yourself. Even if you have to explain the cone of safety to the group of people that you're sitting with, tell them that you are bringing the cone of safety down around you, which means they cannot judge you, they cannot interrupt you, they're just going to have to listen, right? It's a wonderful thing. I will be talking at you all again very soon. Have a fabulous week. Go find some joy in your lives. Bye.